In this world, every single breath must be fought for. There is no salvation for the slow. There is no mercy for the unwary. There is only hunger, raw instinct, and the inevitable clashes of survival. Every meal comes with a heavy price. Every step forward can forge a new opportunity, or push a creature to the absolute brink. Out here, mistakes are never allowed to be repeated. Just one is enough to bring it all to a definitive end. As the dry season reaches its punishing peak on the Mara plains, water becomes infinitely more precious than any food source. All paths lead to a single destination. A watering hole. A place where every creature seeks the hope to survive just one more day. And the exact place where death patiently waits. As the water steadily vanishes, the entire ecosystem begins to revolve around this final vital resource. After agonizing months without rain, the small streams dry up one by one. The vibrant green plains wither into a scorched, lifeless brown. The remaining water sources become increasingly scarce. This brutal reality forces hundreds of species to converge upon the exact same location. The vast distances that once separated predator and prey have now virtually disappeared. At the watering hole, elephants, giraffes, zebras, antelopes, and buffalo are forced to share a space that is simply too small for them all. Here, water does not merely sustain life. It dictates exactly where every single creature will appear. But before any species can take a drink, someone must find the water first. In the heart of the bone-dry Mara riverbed, a herd of elephants is not searching for a lingering puddle. They are searching for a hidden aquifer buried deep beneath the sand. Leading the herd is the oldest matriarch. Decades of surviving grueling dry seasons have allowed her to memorize the exact locations of subterranean water sources completely unknown to most other species. Her trunk, containing roughly 40,000 muscle bundles, relentlessly scoops the sand, while her colossal feet dig deep into the riverbed. Layers of dry earth are forcefully tossed aside. Until the very first drops of water begin to seep up from the ground. The remarkable feat is not merely that the elephants found water. It is that they have actively created a brand new water source. Just hours later, this very well becomes a bustling gathering point for zebras, antelopes, warthogs, birds, and countless other species. This is precisely why ecologists universally regard the African elephant as a keystone species. They do not merely exist within the ecosystem. They actively engineer the ecosystem itself. But every single species that approaches this well must pay a completely different price. The water source is the same. But the mortal risk is absolutely not. For the Maasai giraffe, sheer height is an evolutionary advantage that allows it to detect danger from incredible distances. A fully grown adult can tower over all surrounding foliage, transforming its long neck into a biological watchtower sweeping across the savanna. Yet that very same neck becomes a fatal vulnerability when it is time to drink. To reach the water's surface, the giraffe must awkwardly splay its front legs wide, drastically lower its entire body, and render itself virtually incapable of an immediate reaction if violently attacked. For those agonizingly brief seconds, the tallest animal in Africa is left in its most profoundly vulnerable state. The zebras nervously and continuously sniff the shifting winds. Antelopes take only frantic, rapid sips before instantly jerking their heads up to scan the horizon. Absolutely no creature approaches the watering hole in total peace. Because the very place that sustains life is also the exact place where every single weakness is laid bare. And there are those who understand this brutal reality better than anyone else. The dry season fundamentally alters how predators seek their opportunities. As water becomes increasingly scarce, they no longer need to roam over vast distances. They simply need to wait with deadly patience at the one place every species will ultimately be forced to visit. The water source becomes the ultimate crossroads of life, but also the most treacherous arena on Earth. Every approaching herd must make a life or death choice between agonizing thirst and the lethal threat of an ambush. The predator does not need to dominate the entire landscape. They only need to seize the one choke point the prey cannot avoid. That is the cruelest paradox of the dry season. The well excavated by the elephants has saved countless lives during the most punishing weeks of the drought. But it is this very same water source that draws every species closer together than ever before. The prey comes driven by thirst. The predator comes driven by the prey. A single action by an elephant has inadvertently forged the absolute epicenter of the entire ecosystem, a microscopic patch of Earth where the complex dynamics of cooperation, competition, and predatory slaughter all unfold simultaneously. In the Mara, a water source is never merely a place to drink. It is the most invaluable resource. The very anchor of survival. The ultimate arbiter of power. And the exact stage where life and death violently collide every single day under the African sky. The water source had just been claimed by the lions. But on the African savanna, absolutely no power lasts forever. Because the creatures approaching this time did not come to cower or hide. They have come to violently reclaim control of the watering hole. And their ultimate weapon doesn't lie within a single individual. It lies within the formidable collective. Unlike the herds of zebra that cautiously hesitate when approaching the water, the Cape buffalo display absolutely zero hesitation. They advance like a highly disciplined army. Shoulder to shoulder, row after row, they surge across the plains, forging a massive, virtually unstoppable living wall. The deafening thunder of relentless hooves echoes across the earth, kicking up massive, trailing plumes of dust in their wake. They do not seek safety through stealth or evasion. The true strength of the buffalo herd lies in overwhelming numbers, impenetrable formation, and sheer raw ferocity. A fully grown adult male can weigh nearly 2,000 pounds, 900 kilograms. The massive, thick horns fused across their forehead forge an impenetrable bone shield, forcing any would-be predator to proceed with extreme caution. But the Cape buffalo's greatest advantage does not merely lie in its colossal size. It is the flawless instinctual coordination of the entire herd. The very moment danger is detected, they rapidly close their ranks, instantly transforming hundreds of individuals into a single unified juggernaut. At this moment, the lion is no longer confronting an isolated, vulnerable target, but an entire herd aggressively reacting as one. And against that staggering collective power, the lion's traditional ambush tactics rapidly lose all effectiveness. The lion pride still patiently trails behind. They are desperately searching for an elderly, injured individual, or one that has foolishly strayed from the formation. That is always the most brutally efficient way to minimize mortal risk during a hunt. But the buffalo herd refuses to let that happen. The second, a few individuals detect the slightest hint of an anomaly. A high alert warning signal ripples instantly throughout the entire herd. In a fraction of a second, hundreds of massive bodies simultaneously tighten their formation and aggressively surge forward. A devastating array of horns point outward, transforming the entire herd into a highly lethal, virtually impenetrable living wall. Confronted with such overwhelming collective might, the apex predators are violently forced to re-evaluate their chances. A single debilitating injury could completely strip them of their ability to hunt for agonizing days, or perhaps even permanently. Absolutely no prey is worth paying that ultimate price. Ultimately, they silently retreat into the brush. Not because they are physically weaker, but because the brutal balance of risk has definitively shifted. At the height of the dry season, the temperature on the savanna can skyrocket rapidly as the sun climbs higher. It is the most brutally energy-draining period of the day for absolutely every animal. Lions typically seek refuge, resting heavily beneath the shade of the trees. Many other apex predators strictly limit their movements to avoid severe dehydration and overheating. The savanna, as a result, falls into a deep, heavy silence. Yet it is precisely this scorching lull that creates the perfect window of opportunity for the cheetah. Rather than competing directly with significantly larger, more powerful rivals, they strategically choose the exact moment when competition drops to its absolute lowest. But seizing this empty arena comes at a devastatingly steep price. The cheetah can reach blistering speeds of nearly 60 mph, 100 km, but it can only sustain this explosive velocity for less than a single minute. Therefore, the hunt is not dictated by maximum speed, but entirely by the distance they can close before initiating the charge. The entire coalition stalks in dead silence, flawlessly utilizing the terrain to get as close as physically possible. Because once the gap is small enough, everything will be violently decided in a mere matter of seconds. The unspoken signal is given. The coalition detonates into a synchronized sprint. The cheetahs execute blistering directional changes, systematically cutting off every escape route and violently forcing the prey to lose its rhythm. In just a few dozen seconds, they have successfully secured their prize. Following this extreme acceleration, the cheetah is forced to collapse and hyperventilate desperately, trying to drop its core body temperature before it can even begin to eat. This agonizing recovery period is the exact moment they are at their most profoundly vulnerable. The scent of fresh blood and the thunderous commotion of the chase can inadvertently broadcast their exact location to other lurking predators. Those rivals merely need to show up at the right time to steal the prize. That is exactly why a cheetah always eats frantically, constantly jerking its head up to scan the horizon, and is fully prepared to abandon its hard-earned kill the second the mortal risk becomes too great. Leaving the African savannas behind, the journey continues over 1,860 miles, 3,000 kilometers south, to the freezing waters surrounding Antarctica. Here, amidst currents hovering just a few degrees above, freezing another apex predator completely dominates the ocean. The killer whale. The vast majority of their hunts take place in the epipelagic zone, the sunlit uppermost layer of the ocean extending down to roughly 650 feet, 200 meters. This is where sunlight still penetrates deeply enough for phytoplankton to photosynthesize, generating the vast majority of the energy that sustains the entire marine ecosystem. This incredibly abundant food source draws countless species to converge here. But within these crystal-clear, illuminated waters, remaining concealed becomes harder than ever before. To hunt efficiently, brute strength alone is simply not enough. The killer whale has evolved to perfectly compensate for this through astonishing intelligence, flawless coordination, and tactical brilliance. A fully grown adult male can measure nearly 26 feet, 8 meters in length, weigh several tons, and boast a dorsal fin almost as tall as a grown human. Their highly streamlined bodies allow them to reach blistering speeds of over 31 milliliters at 50 km in short, explosive bursts. Their robust, razor-sharp conical teeth are more than capable of gripping massive thrashing prey. Even their iconic black and white coloration is a highly specialized form of camouflage. Viewed from above, their dark backs blend seamlessly into the murky depths of the sea. Viewed from below, their stark white bellies vanish perfectly into the sunlight filtering down from the surface. But all of these physical advantages merely form the foundation. What truly elevates the orca to its position of absolute, undisputed dominance does not lie in its anatomy. It lies within its brain. A pod of killer whales operates as a single, flawlessly unified system. In the freezing waters of Norway, orca populations coordinate to herd massive schools of herring into dense, swirling bait balls. Then, one by one, individuals deliver devastating tail slaps, stunning the prey before the entire pod shares the feast. Along the Antarctic Peninsula, they join forces to generate powerful synchronized waves perfectly calculated to violently wash seals completely off floating ice floes. Meanwhile, off the coast of Patagonia, Argentina, certain populations ride the incoming tide to intentionally beach themselves, snatching unsuspecting seals before rapidly wriggling back into the surf. There is absolutely no universal hunting formula for every population. Each unique region fosters its own highly specialized tactics, perfectly adapted to the specific conditions of that exact environment. What is even more staggering is that these skills are not innate. A killer whale calf is not born knowing how to summon a wave or herd a school of fish. They learn. Mothers relentlessly guide their young through every single hunt. Complex maneuvers are repeated over and over again until the young calf can execute them with flawless precision. In many pods, the eldest females hold the profoundly vital role of preserving generational knowledge. They alone dictate the migration routes, the hunting grounds, and the precise moment to deploy each specific tactic. Even their acoustic communication varies drastically between pods. Scientists have recorded that each population possesses its own distinct vocalizations, remarkably similar to unique regional dialects. This proves that knowledge in this species is not merely passed down through genetics. It is actively transmitted through rigorous intergenerational learning. In the open woodlands of Africa, energy distribution is shaped by a tightly knit social structure, the pride. Unlike solitary strategies on the open plains, the ecosystem here prioritizes patterns of coordination and collective energy sharing. Close pride bonds transform this population of big cats into a highly organized pressure zone, establishing absolute control over the movement corridors of ungulates. The thick mane matted around the male's neck acts as a specialized protective epidermal layer. This densely woven keratin fur functions as a shock-absorbing buffer, neutralizing impact and tearing forces from horns during intraspecific mechanical conflicts. The pride's hunting system is operated primarily by females possessing flexible anatomical structures. They optimize their ambush matrix by initiating attacks in the late afternoon, a time when falling ambient temperatures support sustained physical endurance. The female hunters align in a semicircular formation to surround the area, while one individual sprints forward to coerce and isolate a target from the ungulate herd. Once the prey is brought down, their collective strength ensures a quick end for the victim. But the scenario does not always play out in such order. Cruelty is not reserved solely for the prey. Internal disputes occur frequently to establish the social hierarchy of who has the right to eat first. The pride life of lions, while offering significant hunting advantages, is also rife with danger. The dominant males must constantly fight to defend their territory against invading coalitions. And when a new ruler emerges victorious, the cruelty of nature truly begins. Cubs carrying the bloodline of the old leader are often eliminated, so that the females may quickly enter a new reproductive cycle. This is not mindless malice. It is a harsh survival strategy, intended to ensure the winner's genes continue to persist on the savanna. To maintain control over their territory, lions utilize one of the most terrifying sounds on the savanna, the long-distance roar. These low-frequency sounds can travel for several miles, warning invading rivals while simultaneously helping separated members find each other's position. But on the savanna, every signal carries risks. Because the roar and the scent of blood from a successful hunt also rapidly attract hyenas, wild dogs, and other opportunists from great distances. Elsewhere on the savanna, the scent of blood from the lion's hunt quickly attracts another force. Spotted hyenas. The howl of the matriarch rings out, summoning the entire clan toward the site of the dispute. A confrontation between two of the savanna's most ruthless forces instantly erupts. On one side is the muscular power of the lion. On the other is the numerical advantage and tenacity of the hyena. As food sources become increasingly scarce, clashes like these are becoming more frequent than ever on the African savanna. When these massive predators engage in a fight for survival, all weaker creatures on the savanna immediately retreat from the chaotic area. Because in nature, energy resources are always limited. As food gradually depletes, all survival systems begin to clash, compete, and eliminate one another. And once that chain of balance collapses, the entire savanna will gradually enter a crisis. The cheetah, the fastest animal on land, is a specialized biological design honed for extreme bursts of speed. Its body possesses a slender skeletal structure, lean muscles without fat, and a large lung capacity to maximize rapid oxygen flow. Accelerating to speeds of over 60 miles per hour in just a few seconds is not a privilege of dominance, but an energy gamble that pushes the animal's physiology to the brink of death. The cheetah's extraordinary speed also comes at a huge price. Each pursuit lasts less than 20 seconds, but the heat generated from the maximum sprint can quickly push its body to a dangerous limit. Therefore, the cheetah only targets prey with the highest probability of success. Hidden among low grasses, it patiently closes the distance before launching the decisive acceleration. Once close enough, a bite locked onto the throat quickly ends the hunt. But if the prey is not brought down in the first few seconds, the cheetah is almost forced to give up. Because continuing the pursuit means pushing its body into a state of overheating and complete exhaustion. After each successful hunt, the moment standing next to the prize is when the cheetah reveals its fragility most clearly. It is forced to eat very quickly before the scent of blood spreads across the savanna and attracts other opportunists. The cheetah's slender body is optimized for speed, not for power-based confrontations. Therefore, in the face of lions or spotted hyenas, it is often forced to surrender the very prey it struggled to capture to save its own life. A harsh paradox of nature. The fastest hunter on the savanna is almost helpless in protecting its own hard-earned reward. While the cheetah trades everything for short bursts of speed, another ghost of the grassland chooses silence. Unlike lions or cheetahs that often hunt on the open savanna, the leopard makes absolute use of its ability to hide, to minimize competition, and approach prey at an extremely close range. Every hunt, every step taken, depends entirely on the calculation of a single individual. This makes the leopard one of the most flexible and unpredictable predators in Africa. The leopard's anatomical system is a masterpiece born for concealment and power. Its signature spotted coat helps it blend almost completely into the patches of light and shadow under the trees, making it very difficult for prey to detect the approaching predator. Meanwhile, the extremely strong shoulder and forelimb structure allows the leopard to drag prey weighing twice its body weight up high tree branches. This is not just a show of strength. It is a mandatory survival strategy. Because on the ground, scavengers are always ready to steal their rewards through superior muscle and numbers. Therefore, immediately after the hunt, the leopard almost instantly moves the prize upward.
Oh no!
Isolating the food source from the opportunists wandering the savanna. The leopard's hunting tactic is based on patience and absolute stealth. It silently stalks its prey in the shadows and tree canopies, waiting for the right moment to launch a surprise ambush. And when the attack begins, everything usually ends in just a few short seconds. The leopard is a testament to the pinnacle of solitary hunting on the savanna. But its lifestyle, dependent on tall trees and hiding spaces, makes it uniquely vulnerable to environmental changes. As forests shrink and tree canopies gradually disappear, the leopard also loses its shelter, its hiding place for prey, and its greatest survival advantage. Forced to appear more often on the ground, this predator increasingly faces lions, hyenas, and humans. But on the savanna, not every predator relies on silence or ambushes from the darkness. While the leopard exists as a solitary ghost among the tree canopies, another force chooses a completely opposite tactic. Hunting through speed, endurance, and the coordination of an entire pack. African wild dogs. A system that can consist of over 20 individual nodes, linked closely together through high-frequency acoustic signals. Each node takes on a specific movement vector, transforming the entire pack into a mobile pressure zone, leaving no blind spots on the ground. The most fearsome weapon of the African wild dog lies not in strength, but in the coordination and persistent chasing ability of the entire pack. They continuously track the prey over long distances, step by step causing the target to lose energy and become unable to escape. And when the appropriate moment arises, the entire pack rushes in to finish the hunt. The dogs begin tearing into the food immediately, often while the animal is still alive. This action, though it may look heartless to the human eye, helps minimize the risk of the prize being stolen by other predators. Within the wild dog pack, reproductive rights usually belong only to the dominant alpha pair. The remaining members spend most of their lives supporting the pack, guarding the den and caring for the young. After every hunt, food is shared back to the pack through a mechanism of regurgitating food from the stomach. That energy source helps nourish the young, while also supporting individuals that are injured or exhausted. It is this special bond that has turned the African wild dog into one of nature's most effective coordinated hunting networks. While wild dogs dominate the savanna with discipline, in other regions, an equally formidable opponent operates through sheer numbers and opportunism. On the African savanna, the spotted hyena is often viewed merely as a scavenger that steals the kills of others. But in reality, they are highly efficient hunters. They possess incredible endurance, capable of pursuing prey over vast distances without stopping. Unlike lions or cheetahs, which rely on short bursts of speed, hyenas choose to exhaust their targets bit by bit. They continuously exert pressure, forcing the prey to expend all its physical energy until it is no longer capable of running away. The social structure of the spotted hyena clan is controlled by dominant females. They are larger, more aggressive, and hold control over nearly all food resources within the clan. Competition within a hyena clan begins as soon as they are born. Hyena pups develop very early and must quickly compete with their own siblings for food and the chance to survive. In the harsh environment of the savannah, only the strongest individuals can survive to adulthood. When they begin to eat, the spotted hyena reveals one of the most powerful jaws in the animal kingdom. A massive bite force allows them to easily crush even large bones to reach the nutrient-rich marrow inside. Unlike many other predators that often leave behind the hardest parts of a carcass, the hyena utilizes almost the entire prey. It is this ability that makes them one of the most effective cleanup machines on the savannah. The strength of a hyena clan lies not only in its jaws, but also in the ability of the entire group to communicate and coordinate. The piercing sounds echoing across the savannah are actually the way they transmit signals to one another regarding location, food, and surrounding danger. When the entire clan gathers in sufficient numbers, hyenas can exert enormous pressure on any opponent. Even a mature male lion is sometimes forced to surrender its prize in the face of persistent pressure from an entire hyena clan. The African savannah operates as a sophisticated biological machine. Every creature, from the lion to the hyena, acts as a driving link, keeping the ecosystem in a state of sustainable energy balance for millions of years. However, that machine is being broken by human hands. Climate change is causing rivers to dry up, and migratory grasslands are being fragmented by artificial barriers. When basic life resources are depleted, These engineers that regulate nature are forced into brutal conflicts to fight for the last remaining scraps of energy. Not only predators are being affected, herds of antelope, zebras, and buffalo are also gradually losing the ancient migration routes that once helped them survive the dry seasons. As prey populations decline, the entire food chain begins to lose stability. Vast lands that were once filled with life are becoming quieter with each passing year. Even the rulers of the savannah are now forced to travel farther, hunt longer, and face an ever-growing risk of extinction. Nature is not collapsing because of a violent inherent nature, but because of our own crude interference. To prevent this annihilation, humanity must act immediately, restore water sources, protect migratory corridors, and end land encroachment. If we do not act, the kings of the savannah will disappear forever into a realm of silence.